Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Boring Enterprise Nerds. I guess Sapphire. What is it? Wallace,
Sapphire
not Wallace
Special.
and Gromit.
Yeah.
Who are the Muppet guys? Statler and Waldorf. The guys up in the top who laugh at things
Yeah.
and throw popcorn and stuff. Like that's us right now. What we're gonna do is be the Muppet guys for some videos and information that dropped from SAP Sapphire this week.
Yeah.
I was physically there. Yelena was physically not there. I was not physically there for any of the big keynotes. There was like customer calls and things. I think a lot of people wind up missing those things for their random customer or meetings or whatever like that too. But we went through. We watched the videos. We prepared some thoughts and things, and we're going to share them with one another at the moment. I didn't say who we are. So I'm Paul Moderman. With
I
me
mean,
is Yelena
it's written
Perfilieva.
right there.
Yeah, yeah. So just uh please read the names on your screen if you skip that part. But I think Yelena, let's just start digging in, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yelena's got
Let's
the video queued up and she's
yeah.
the mistress of
Let's
driving here.
so just to give the introduction. So Sapphire is in Orlando. It's Sapphire's major SAP conference for those
Yeah.
of you who don't know what it is suddenly. And there is always first day keynote that's delivered by SAP CEO Christian Klein in this case. It's sometimes a boring event, but in this case, we're not going to watch the introduction. You can see there is a big chunk of already skipped. I want to say there was surprisingly funny introductory video. So there is always some kind of video, and usually it's very kind of marketing stuff. It's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, like very kind of
It
chest
was
thumping them, or just pompous event. But in this case, it was actually pretty humorous and well done. So
yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised by
I
it.
was I was happy to say because like I always have this kind of like maybe it's too cynical. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I always have this reaction to like kind of anything SAP does of like, okay, maybe let's not think so highly of ourselves. Like we're making sure the POs go, right? That's what
Yeah.
we're doing here.
Yeah.
And so the opening line, I wrote this down. The opening line of that first segment was since the dawn of time, like
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
hype things. And I was like, oh my God, what are we gonna see here? And then they leaned into the humor. I thought it was really good. I was so
Yeah.
glad to see SAP having a sense of humor about itself.
Yeah.
It was well done. Well
Yeah.
done.
All right. So let's just do a little bit of introduction here.
Welcome to Sapphire 2026. Welcome to all our customers, partners, media, and analysts. And, of course, to my best friend, Jewel.
That was the first thing I
Great to be
noted. I
back.
was like, I was
Yeah.
like, best friend Jewel,
Best
buddy,
friend
come
Joe is like,
on.
yeah,
Oh,
like, Jesus. And it's funny enough, and not just Christian Klein, others use the same spiel there. They're just calling it like it's like Alexa or Hey Siri. I'm like,
yeah,
Jesus Christ. And it
yeah,
also responded in female voice. I'm like, yeah, we're back to that now. So yeah,
yeah,
no, thank you.
yeah,
I wish they would have skipped that part. So
yeah.
there is a little bit of intro. We're not gonna watch obviously the whole keynote. I'm just gonna give you kind of the highlights of it. But I wanted to say in the beginning, what I liked here is that he actually shared a story. Story was a little bit cheesy, maybe, but I like the fact that story was kind of leading into otherwise very kind of marketingy, salesy, and enterprisey keynote. So I definitely invite more storytelling into these events, and that at least for a few minutes it was a good start. After that, there were no more stories told after that, so that was the end of it. But I thought it was a good intro. So right after that, and so feel free to watch like the first like 3 4 minutes of it. It was actually entertaining.
Yeah.
And the video is available on YouTube on SAP official channel. So after that, he goes into like why business AI needs accuracy.
Hmm.
There is no doubt that AI is changing everyone's life. Starting with
Yeah, like no shit show, like what
Yeah.
year?
What year
Okay.
is it now? Duh. Yeah.
Yeah.
my own life. As a CEO, I use AI for all kinds of tasks. I use AI to bounce around.
Yeah, so yeah, that was like very interesting. I was looking at like, well, how I mean, obviously he's CEO of huge company, and
Yeah.
I'm not, and our use cases are vastly vastly different of AI. So that was an interesting observation. But I
Yeah.
want to get to the part where he starts talking about that brain theories.
15 years, we have been developing an ERP with incredibly deep process and data.
So that was I mean it's not a huge deal in this keynote, but I just found it slightly ironic that he says ERP is the brain of every company, which is good analogy to make, but I find it ironic that he makes it in the context of how accuracy and governance everything is important. I'm like, do you actually know how much our brain is actually lying to us? Because
Yeah.
if you're talking like something that sits at the center and controls everything, yes, that's totally plausible analogy. But
Yeah.
if you're talking about accuracy, it's not a good, it's actually not a great
Yeah.
comparison.
I really I was reflecting on something similar to that when I saw this part too. Because in my head I can't shake this. I don't know who gave me this, and I think it's a common formulation out there.
Yeah,
But at some point somebody said to me, SAP is just like the world's biggest forms over data application out there in the world. And like I can like agree and disagree with that probably in some ways, right? But where my head goes with this analogy here is like ERP is the brain of carry. That's a pretty good analogy. I almost think of like ERP is like the library of every company, or the
mm,
the ledger, or the archive.
mm,
And maybe archive is a bit strong because it doesn't. That implies that it's not currently running too. But I mean the currently running archive of every
yeah,
company, where you're like all of your orders, financials, all that kind of stuff go. But it's like you're saying, brain also implies a kind of intelligence,
yeah,
a kind of
yeah,
ability to squish through things. And a lot of times that ability to squish through things it's less about pixel perfect precision on every
yeah,
point, and it's more about making a leap of inference and
yeah,
making a judgment call when you're not sure and things like that. And in that case, ERP just hasn't cracked that code yet,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. And maybe, yeah, you're right. Maybe it's more about like intelligence and corporate memory, something that they're going to bring up later in the keynote as well. All right,
Yeah.
so let's get to the meaty parts here. So SAP is a brain, blah blah blah.
Business
Introducing.
technology platform. And today, I'm super proud to launch our new SAP Business AI platform, which forms the basis for our vision of the future of business, the autonomous enterprise.
All right, so that's where I think we're looking at another renaming of SAP BTP maybe.
Yeah.
Or rather BTP being rolled into this part. I think maybe there was like previous slides that actually had BTP in it. Let me see if I can locate it here.
There it
Yeah. Oh,
is.
so
You
so
can.
yeah, so very tiny. So basically that's what SAP already has. So SAP BTP technology platform, SAP Business Data Cloud BDC, and what they're called AI Foundation, which is again 10 products in
Yeah,
one.
and even then too, like this is where, boy, and I know we'll talk about this more, but
Mm-hmm.
like, maybe I'm just setting my expectations wrong about things.
Mm,
Maybe Steve Jobs did too good of a job with like product reveals or whatever, right?
yeah.
Because like I feel like what a lot of times happens is things that already exist and have existed for weeks or months or even longer just get put into a different group or a different bucket, and then the bucket has a new label on it,
Yeah.
and that's the announcement. Is that
Yeah.
hey guys, essentially like, welcome to our keynote. This is our bucket announcement keynote,
Yeah. And we
right?
we, ju-
Where,
we just repackaged some stuff
yeah,
and yeah, and
this is our
added some
gift
new
wrapping.
stuff to it,
Yeah,
but it's not important because the whole package has new name now. So
yeah,
yeah, I honestly, if BTP is part of SAP Business AI platform, then it's like platform inside platform wrapped deep dish pizza and blueberry pancakes. That makes even less sense to me, to be honest. So, but again, SAP marketing just doesn't really think in this term. So,
I
but
also, I also, I
yeah,
also kind of think of, I guess maybe I wasn't being very nuanced. I don't know. But
mm,
like, I think of the AI Foundation and BDC, in my head at least, those are also at least kind of BTP as well.
yeah, that's because I mean, because BTP being platform, that's actual
Yeah.
platform that's supposed to support everything. That
So I
yeah,
guess
so yeah, I had pretty much the same
I've
understanding.
I've never carved out the AI Foundation as like
Yeah,
a thing that is distinct from BTP in some
right,
way.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean that would be a logical conclusion that
Yeah.
any sane person seeing the term platform would make. But
Yeah.
if we look again at this, so they're moving into 3D. It used to be like semi-circle. Now
Whoa.
it's like now it has like new iPhone liquid UI look to it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it has SAP Knowledge Graph, whatever the heck that is now, and SAP Business Data Cloud, of course, somehow Business AI platform. So BTP is not even here. So now I'm like, is that a new name for BTP then? I have no idea what just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then somehow random like logos are sprinkled here. So I'm, yeah, I'm like just looking like, okay, someone would have to draw a better picture, I guess. All right, so that's introduction of tada, like SAP Business AI
Business
platform.
AI
People are
platform.
like, okay, like I
This
guess we
is
clap now.
so I guess the one thing I'll say too, and I mean everybody has a different experience at
Mm,
when they're physically at a conference, right? Because
mm,
there's especially something the size of Sapphire, there's so many people, so many whatever. I'll say this is that after this keynote, I don't really feel like I heard many people actually talking about Business AI platform.
yeah,
I don't feel like
yeah.
it made a splash, I guess.
Mm.
I don't know. I could be totally wrong. Maybe I was talking to the wrong people. But I don't
Yeah,
feel
maybe.
like I mean
Yeah,
it's a valid thought because I mean everyone has their own slice of the world. I just didn't feel like there was any walking away of like
yeah.
a different understanding of anything, you
Well,
know?
it would be, I think it would be fair to point out that this keynote is also about announcing things that are still coming to
Yeah.
availability. So there is, and it's not just this year, it's been tradition. So like announcement of pre-announcement of possibly getting
Mm-hmm.
this sometime in the
Mm-hmm.
future. Because if you look at there was a press release with all the innovation list, that is like Q2, Q3, Q2, Q3. It's like
Mm-hmm.
sometime. So I assume TechEd will have more specific information on it by that time in October. But
Mm.
overall, it's a little bit of announcy and not much
Yeah.
like, hey, you go out tomorrow back to your jobs and you like can do something
end to
right
end.
away. It's
And
not
let's
really.
have a deeper look into build. In fact, before we actually start building anything, it would be great to know what to build, what has the highest impact on the business. In the past, you had to do time-consuming research or do this thing we proposed called AI discovery workshops. Now, it is as simple as typing, show me my top 3 business challenges. Now, in this case, we are
Yeah. I don't know, Paul, if you have like any thoughts on this
So
kind of beginning.
I work with AI a lot.
Mm,
A lot. And when I say that, I mostly mean these days the language model style AI.
mm,
And there's such a weird gravitation, maybe not gravitation. There's a weird like you have to do a balance. So at the beginning of the show somewhere, there's this like floating prompt cloud of like prompts that are
mm,
around there, right? And Philip just showed a prompt here of like, show me my top 3 business problems.
mm.
It is very hard to come up with good example prompts of what you should ask for.
Yeah.
In my head, I don't think that's a good example prompt to give an AI.
Yeah.
Because if you had to ask the question in that way, how are you qualified to judge the results of the answer?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
if it is if it is sufficient to ask a broad question like that, even with connection to context and stuff from SAP, how could you know that SAP is giving you the right answer to that question?
Yeah.
I don't this something is like people who don't spend all of their time in AI like maybe this is the way to speak to how they kind of visualize it. I don't know. But in my head, if you are typing in that specific question to an AI tool, you're probably not using it right.
Yeah. And I'm kind of my thought was on this, and it's the same line repeats through pretty much every SAP event, I think, for years. It's like the examples are shown every time. I look at that and I think like, do you actually know what your customers do? Do
Mm,
you actually talk to the customers, and who are those customers? And they definitely talk to the customers who are eager to buy more SAP products and who are maybe early
mm,
adopters, but maybe go also talk to other customers and maybe to those who are not even at these events. Maybe find like
yeah,
your like the most like technology backwards customer and maybe also talk to them, because I don't think you're getting the right picture if you're talking only to like very specific group of customers. And every time it's like it was like the same thing, but now with more automation, the same thing, but now with more cloud, and now it's just with more AI. But essentially it's just the same, honestly, the same scenarios. We just keep solving the same
yeah,
problems for years and never seem to get ahead of it. But hopefully this time, maybe 2026 will be better. But all right, but he's gonna go, so there
yeah,
was that agent Joule Studio, whatever. All right, so let's take a look at that.
Know-how. It, of course, comes with out-of-the-box connectivity to all your apps, and it guides you through full-fledged product requirements, documents, and technical specification. Also super important, it's eval-based, so you can actually guide in a data-driven way your AI coding assistants, and it's SAP managed and comes with all enterprise qualities baked in.
So I first, by the way, I misheard him. I thought he said email based, but
oh,
or eval. I'm not sure how many people in that audience actually know the term, and I know it only because we talked to you, and you mentioned it before. Otherwise, honestly, I would have no clue what he's talking about. So I don't know, Paul. I know you watched the keynote. Any thoughts about this Joule Studio stuff?
not not really, I guess.
Mm.
I feel like, yeah, I just said not really, and then I'm about to open my mouth and say something. So, great job. Except it's just like it makes sense that such a thing exists.
Mm.
Um, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Joule Studio is for making Joule agents, and that should be what people are doing in some
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, kind of.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you
yeah,
need some kind of environment. The only
yeah.
thing I've noticed in a few other screenshots and demos there that their use cases, and they did not really highlight that, but you could see it on some screens. Um, it looks like this setup they were showing, it might involve using like the full spectrum of SAP products, like including LeanIX and
Mm,
Signavio and some other
yeah,
tools. So I would say if anyone is looking into this, probably maybe take a look at what exactly are requirements to
yeah,
run this or
yeah,
that functionality.
yeah,
So it's obviously they're not going to point it out like, yeah, but you're going to
for
need
sure,
subscription.
for
So
sure.
next was a weird one. Okay.
You're a fantastic customer and partner alike. Tell us a little bit more where KPMG stands today with respect to
Okay,
AI. And
stop right there. I hate those kinds of questions
Mm,
on things because like it was like a little drop of fluff and then an unrelated question,
yeah.
right? Because he said, Rob, you're a great customer and partner. And
Mm,
then he asked a question that wasn't really related to being a customer or partner.
yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
why did you say great customer and partner, except to just be like this like moment of like it adds to a BS veneer of
Yeah.
things for me
Yeah.
when things like that come out.
Yeah. The whole KBMG segment here. I mean, it was cool for them to share, but it was. I mean, it's an odd choice of customer here. And again, SAP is choosing them probably, but they're also choosing from those who are willing to present
Yeah.
there as well. But I felt like in this, and we're going to see that later. So there wasn't really anything here that's worth kind of talking about. But later they also have another customer, and where was it? Oh, here. So
JP Morgan
JP
Chase,
Morgan
yeah.
Chase. I'm like, I don't want to get like too political or woke here, but like JP Morgan Chase is not like a beloved institution. It's like
Yeah.
one of those nasty investment banks that are only hated slightly less than cable companies in general
Yeah.
population. And KPMG, I mean, I don't want to throw shade, but they're not also beloved like
Yeah,
partner. And again, I'm slightly biased here, but even IBM, while being a huge corporation and also a customer and partner, they kind of don't get as much hate as maybe other like
yep,
big
yep,
companies. So
yep,
I don't know, maybe just choose someone who has
yeah.
more fan base, maybe in general pub. I don't know.
They did. They
I'm
did.
just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. They
Like
did like
I'm just
one
yeah
year they did Adidas. One year did like or
yeah
like to have Nike like or just like a manufacturer or something
yeah
like that would
yeah.
be really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right, so let's skip that KPMG stuff. So, okay, so this is okay. Get your Joule Studio for free, guys. All right.
Performance, and of course, it's not semantically aligned. Now, Business AI platform starts on a strong foundation, SAP Business Data Cloud, which acts as the business data fabric that gives you universal business context across.
All right, so this is gonna be like a big word salad type of thing. I did not get much honestly from it, but I don't really work in
Yeah.
analytics space, so I don't know.
No,
It's
I
might
don't
be.
either, and I didn't. Same with me. I didn't get
All
much
right.
from
So
this.
so next one is maybe slightly more interesting. That's where they talk about predictive AI more.
Yeah.
It is AI for decision intelligence, reasoning on structured business data. Predictions like demand forecasts in retail or predictive maintenance in asset management. To do such things, we had to rely so far on what we call narrow AI models, one for each task. Now, if you want to solve for 10 of such predictive tasks and say for 10 company codes, you have to train easily 100 AI models. Months of work, and you need a lot of data scientists, which oftentimes you don't have, and it's a significant investment, hard to scale and adapt. So what we did is we basically put all of that into a one giant model, which we introduced last year called Rapid One, which is the
This is so the first public broad announcement of this Rapid One was at TechEd in Berlin last
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm,
Toward the end of the year, I guess, right?
yeah.
Um, and I actually think as an idea, it is pretty cool. It is pretty cool as an idea to go out there and like have some holes or whatever in like a bunch of tabular data and ask a model to like predict that stuff, and it gets pretty darn good results for like a wide range of things. That's pretty cool and awesome. Like I still am curious about how they and maybe did I miss it here, but did they announce how they're putting it into products here? I don't think it's part of any.
Not really. I think it's
No,
still kind of being mentioned like, oh, we have this RPT, which is strangely it's spelled RPT. They pronounce it as rapid,
rapid.
and
Yeah,
many people on LinkedIn spelled it as rapid, like the word,
yeah.
which I have no idea what's up with that. But later they talk about it, and they talked about there was also analyst question about this, and honestly, it's like maybe it's like great thing, but I don't really get like it's not like something you can like
I
sell or easily
yeah.
kind of understand, I guess. How would you make use of it exactly, and why is it mad? Why does it matter? What's the importance of it?
I would
Yeah,
really appreciate it, somebody like a customer who uses this to tell a story about that. And
yeah,
I'm not saying that there's no stories. There probably are, but I want to see them because I want to understand more about the details of that. That's my
yeah,
final piece of this
yeah,
one.
yeah. So next one. This is where they talk about AI Agent Hub.
next level. AI Agent Hub not only allows you now to discover all your agents in context.
Sorry, before we go further. So the previous slide had like 25% of Fortune 500 customers are already in some way using it. Like it's funny way to say you have 125 customers using it because it looks certainly more impressive, like 25% of Fortune 500. That's, but if you convert it into numbers, not that impressive. So
Two out
so
of 10, 2 out of 10 dentists agree.
Except and dentist, yeah. So Agent Hub, I'm not sure if it's brand new or something like I don't know, something that just coming up. But earlier in the keynote, we scrolled past it, but I think it was earlier in the keynote where also Christian Klein made an announcement that SAP is gonna manage your third-party agents for free. which I think shocked everyone in the audience. So this is, I guess, how they plan to do that.
Text, your landscape or your business processes, but once you identified each of those SAP or non-SAP agents, you can actually control their risk, define architectural boundary conditions or compliance rules. And once you're done with that, you can mark an agent as verified. And Business AI Platform and AI Agent Hub are making sure that only verified agents can operate in your landscape to ensure highest levels of control.
This is okay. So ServiceNow has been talking about this like AI agent control tower stuff in their world, and I have never dug into the details of like what the UI looks like, what the exact kind of things it tracks are. But like there was a while there where like every week SAP was announcing like we now have blah 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 management as a part of the
Yeah.
business suite portfolio, right? At one point they had that. At one point they had innovation management, which to me made like no sense in terms of like let's go crazy and invent something new, but let's also like put an SAP process around it. Like, well,
Yeah.
but this I tie a string here to Muhammad Alan's section later when he talks about evaluation and KPIs for agents themselves,
Yeah.
and then letting you monitor KPIs for agents. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
In terms of the like, like you need to know if you're going to start doing more of these agent stuff, which you should start doing it. Like you need to know, are they doing their job right
Yeah.
for things if they're the
And
autonomous kind, right?
yeah.
And so this fits along the same thing. I think just like this is good, but it's not like this is not like an SAP HANA kind of thing, right? This is not like a
Yeah.
new thing that's a different world. But at the same time, like good, you should be doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's pretty much kind of, keeping up with the Joneses because every
Yeah.
tech company now wants to manage everything.
Yeah.
Microsoft would manage your agents, and I'm sure they would love to manage all of your agents as well.
Yeah.
And like ServiceNow or whoever, every company would love to manage all of your agents for you at
Yes.
some price, of course.
Yeah.
And by the way, it was declared here that we'll manage it for free. However, if anyone looked at the Q&A after the keynote, which I'm not sure if we're gonna get to it in this recording, but it was public, it was streamed. There were actually much more detail to that, and there are so many asterisks that honestly, I'm not sure if it's actually free is the right word to use there. All right, so so there is a couple of quite boring segments after that. So partner ecosystem, it's like rather
Kind of
cringy video
snooze. Yeah.
from
Yeah.
from that person, and then of course Nvidia guy later chimed in. So JP Morgan Chase, it was, I don't know, totally.
I found it hard to hold
I
on
was,
tight to
oh
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a snooze fest of conversation. All right, so now, okay, now the big bang introducing autonomous enterprise. All right.
An industry application, or let's call them systems of execution, having generated incredible value for our customers. I hope you can agree to that. From R2 to R3 to ECC to S4 to our modular cloud suite. I spent the first 15 years of my career working with finance transaction codes like PC02 or
By the way, this is a digital boardroom that I think we mentioned in a few recordings. Like, whatever happened to that? It's like never seen one
Nobody-
live. So
Nobody
and
ever bought
apparently,
it.
yeah, apparently Christian Guy was actually presenting it, and he remembers.
our system of execution will transform into SAP's autonomous suite. The new autonomous suite will span across 5 domains: autonomous finance, spend, supply chain, HCM, and CX.
All right, so this is, I don't know, when he first mentioned, I was like, what the hell even like is this thing really? It sounds like one of those I don't know, compostable ERP things. But then later on, and I took a note of one slide later on there. Notice those items here, those 5 ones, and it's like just finance, spend, SCM, HCM, CX. So it isn't really like, I mean, it might be the whole enterprise of a bunch of SAP products because HCM, that's a separate product. SCM, I think, is still also kind of separate product. CX, definitely separate product. And like whatever that is, this is probably Ariba pretty much, and finance. And that could be a bunch of other products. So it isn't there. Like, where is ERP in this even? Like, it's not really. So not any of these 5 is actually your core ERP system. And I just found it interesting that that thread kind of went through all the slides. So a lot
Yeah.
of talk, but like ERP is not there. It's like to combine again, to sell you more products and to combine them somehow
Yeah.
by another name. But
Yeah.
I digress. All right. So here comes
Yeah.
NVIDIA guy with more like like celebrity doing intro for some kind of Ohio radio station. Oh, hello,
Yeah.
like WKB,
Yeah.
like Cincinnati, or who is
This
it?
is
Okay, now it's
Jensen
like your
Wong. Yeah.
yeah, like Scooter and the beach. So yeah, that was kind of that vibe. All right, so here comes Muhammad Alam. All right.
Completely changed the portfolio of products we have into a truly autonomous suite.
Yeah.
Underpinning the autonomous suite are out-of-the-box.
All right, so he's going to talk about all the Joule agents and Joule Assistant. So this is pretty long segment. I think it's interesting to watch, but just in the interest of time, do you want anything? Do you have any special notes on
The
any
only
like
the only thing
segments
I
here?
took out of the agents piece was that idea of the agents themselves having KPIs and you like
Yeah,
you keep them. To me, that was the thing that like I grabbed on as like the piece that makes the most sense from an SAP and from the standpoint of where you are the manager of those things rather than the doer of those things.
yeah,
The KPIs make complete sense. And so
yeah,
I was like, yep, that's
yeah,
good. We should
yeah.
do more of that.
Yeah, the list of assistants was, and I mean, SAP, to be fair, they're not very far in that journey, and definitely more and more agents will be created, probably custom
Yeah.
ones. But right now, I'm not sure if the list is really that impressive, especially just for ERP, if we don't count all those extra
Yeah.
satellite systems. All right, and then there was special demo for just financial closing assistant. And
Thank you, Mohammed.
as a fashion coordinator, I just want to acknowledge this person having just smashing outfit for this segment, and
Yeah.
I'm so glad that it's so refreshing to see her deviate from the typical like woman like C executive attire of like tight
Yeah.
suit and stiletto
Yeah.
heels. So fantastic job, Sophia. You do you, and yeah, be
Yes.
comfortable. And clearly, she was
Yes.
rocking it. So, yeah,
It's
awesome. Yeah,
incredible to
yeah,
be.
That's
awesome.
yeah. I
And
mean, like
awesome,
it
awesome.
really, I really have like, and this is something that I failed at for many, many years as a human and as a professional,
Yeah,
is not acknowledging like the artistry in outfit selection. I don't do it
yeah,
very well myself,
yeah,
but I acknowledge it, and that is pretty rad.
yeah,
And it's like it doesn't take away, it adds to what's going
yeah,
on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think everyone was. I I mean, in general, I mean, this is not about fashion, of course, but
Yeah.
I just want to say it's a very welcome trend that people are just wearing comfortable clothes, even on stage,
Yes.
even high level. I welcome it with like both hands,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just whatever is comfortable. If someone is comfortable actually in more like formal attire, I mean, by all
Do
means,
it
and yeah,
and
yeah.
be comfortable in it.
And
Yes.
funny enough, there is a segment for H&M. We could probably get to it, and they have like fun observations there as well. All right, so this is financial closing assistant demo. I think it would be fair to watch it and just see for yourself. All right, so now, okay, Joule Work and Joule Spaces. This is a curious one.
For our amazing user experiences in our core ERP applications. Though I think infamous might be the right word. I think our CEO actually was brave enough to show.
So there are some more jokes about SAP having kind of bad user experience.
Yeah.
All right, so he's talking about like headless, appless, whatever they call it, but then let me see where he finally gets into the meat of it. So the answer to all of this is apparently
Immersively with the user, what you saw just now in the financial close assistant with their human counterparts. Let's roll the video to take a deeper look into what spaces are.
Spaces in Jewel Work have been designed to help you get your.
Yeah, so
I
I
don't
saw
like
that
that
space is like,
voice. I don't like
yeah,
that voice.
voice is terrible. And
Yeah.
like, is this like, are you trying to create like SAP Teams version or like,
Ooh.
I don't know because, yeah, I was kind of very suspicious of this whole idea, and yeah, I don't know. Do you have
No,
any
the only
thoughts
thing I
on
have
this?
it the only thing I have on this is like there are a couple tools out there right now, OpenAI Codex and Claude Cowork and things like that, and Claude Code too in certain places that do this kind of thing really well. And my fear for this is that it won't nearly keep pace with those things in terms of
Yeah,
and those tools work really well. They're incredible tools. And I don't know. I don't trust it to be great out of the
yeah,
box, I guess.
yeah. All right, so Zen was at all right, so now their COO is on stage. He had industry AI segment, which is pretty long here. I was kind of indifferent to that. I don't know if just not my
No,
jam. It's like
I had
just
no reaction to
pretty
it
pretty
whatsoever.
boring. But funny. So he when he came out, I was like, what the heck is he wearing? But then funny enough, so H&M
H&M.
is next next customer here. So there is a lady from H&M, and by the way, she's also has like smashing outfit, absolutely
Yeah,
stunning. I just
shiny
loved
and
it. I'm like,
everything. Yes.
what an advertisement for H&M. It's like absolutely fabulous.
Yeah,
I hope it's from their brand. I assume
yeah.
because I mean, otherwise you'd be in trouble. But it's funny enough that they talk about their kind of what they've done with SAP and how they use like AI for their stores. And in the end, it turns out that the outfit that he was wearing, it was kind of purposely selected from using that technology. So that was a
Oh
funny
yeah.
way to do that. So kind of going into closing. So this is where Christopher Klein comes back for the money shot. So there you go. So rise and grow with AI.
Our new AI platform, together with our autonomous suite, give you the ability to transform your company into an autonomous enterprise. Bringing the autonomous enterprise to life will help you to gain resiliency in times of uncertainty, where we sometimes don't know what will happen.
Yeah, so of course, I mean, very nicely crafted talk, but then when he comes to the offering, so there is basically, so he talks, so very interesting subject here. Let me see, I think he gets right into it.
Tomorrow. But technology alone and plugging AI agents into your existing system landscape will drive zero value. Moving to the autonomous enterprise requires serious change management.
Yeah, so I'm actually glad that he brought it up. And I think it was maybe intentional for them to close with it, because what you leave at the end, it will be more like an action item.
Yeah.
And there definitely change management comes up every time, and it's basically they're bringing it back to where they started from in that funny video, because that is essentially about managing managing changes and managing new technology.
Yeah.
I actually wish that there was maybe even more time given to that, and even better if customers were given any more specific maybe guidance how
Yeah.
SAP can help them with
Yes.
that, because it
Yeah.
was pretty much, well, here is an action for you, but like, well, guys, you're not making it easy with your constant renaming and strange offerings, etc. So yeah, nice job. So all right, so
The
then
action
he,
the action for you is to understand our
yeah,
platform. And by
yeah.
the way, if you do, will you tell us what it is? Because
Yeah,
we'd like
yeah.
to know too.
By the
Yeah.
way, what is it? And how are you using this exactly? We're very curious to know, so that we can, yeah, figure out what do you do with it.
BTP. Tell me
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
All right. So then it goes into closing. So we have only 3 minutes left here. I just wanted to bring this post. Unfortunately, didn't have time to go into details of it, but there is a video where
Yeah.
it's Q&A after the keynote. The way it happens at the event, the executive team literally stays there, and then they take questions from the press and audiences. I watched through this video. It was actually quite interesting, and I recommend at least 30 minutes of it. And I just have a couple of observations here. So
Yeah.
first of all, very funny body language here. It's like Christopher Klein, like he's so tired at this point. He came in with his own cup of probably Red Bull, and he just like, I just want to sit through this. This guy is just excited to be there, but he's like, I have nothing to do with this. And this guy is just, that's Philip Herzog. He reminded me of that PC principal from South Park. It's like, listen up, like this, because he is like, he's already pre-grumpy. He is like came out ready to defend, some stupid
Yeah.
questions that no
Yeah.
doubt will arise here. And if I can just put a message out to media here, guys, please keep it to one question at a time, for cripe's sake. I was looking through this. I'm like, don't give them two questions in one. They're not going to answer both anyways. They're going to pick which one they want, and they're going to
Yeah.
do that. It's an opportunity for a lifetime for you to ask something for people who are not there. I mean, represent better, guys. So that's my
Yeah.
message to media. All right, so we're kind of closing
We-
in last minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Paul,
wish we had more time. We should have.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe we should have found a way to skip through faster. Although I think we had to make so many good points. It's hard to
Yeah,
it's hard to choose, you
it's
guys.
always
There's
hard, and I mean there
like
is 3 hours of content to cover, to be
yeah.
fair. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Paul. So any closing comments?
So my the other thing I wanted to let's see. Autonomous Suite and Business AI Platform are the big key like marquee words, I guess, for me from this stuff. And the last thought that I have in my head as I fall asleep every night is is like what do those things mean? And are they something other than buckets that just are different buckets, right? So like I want to hear stories. I always say this and
Yeah.
it's always true. I want to hear stories. If you guys if somebody out there eventually starts using autonomous finance or autonomous spend, and by the way, for my dumb brain, I don't get the difference between finance and spend. Maybe I'm sure it makes sense to somebody, but I don't get it.
Most
Um,
likely.
but actually, I guess so. Really, what I would say is autonomous SCM is to me the most interesting one because that feels the most like tentacles on the outside world kind of
Yeah,
thing. Where if you can do that autonomously and it's truly autonomous, like let me know how that works. 'Cause I'd be very curious to see how that works.
yeah,
So that's my closing thought as always is like show me your examples, universe, because I want to see them.
yeah,
Yelena, what about
I
you?
yeah,
Anything from you?
I agree 100%. And um, I hope that we will see more like practical examples at TechEd, because
Yeah.
by the time all those pre-announced stuff is gonna be more available. But
Yeah.
again, yeah, again, more better customers. And I know there is separate customer keynote, which was posted only a few hours ago. But maybe bring like, I don't know, different customers to the keynote. And by
Mm.
the way, they also announced partner at the very like last minute of keynote partnership with Palantir, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, this cannot be more like evil corporations than that. And
Yeah,
yeah,
boy, that's just
like
yeah.
Jesus, like
That's a separate episode altogether there, I
yeah,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So on that
Yeah.
note, like and subscribe.
Yeah, please like and subscribe, share with your friends, show your grandma at the next Thanksgiving or whatever. And on behalf of the Boring Enterprise Nerds, thank you very much guys for watching as
Thank
always.
you so much, guys. Take care.